Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 77 of the Showbound podcast. I'm your host, Michael Raskin, here alongside Ethan Cardwell. And Cards, before I flip it to you, actually, just as I was saying that, I've done the same intro 77 episodes, other than you took it once, I think. But maybe next episode, maybe I switch it up. You think it's something to think about?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a topic that could be discussed off the air to decide on what we want for our future. No, I don't know. I feel like it's just like you have it so down pat. Like you could literally be like doing whatever. I feel like you could ring that thing off in your sleep. You know it, like the Bible at this point.
What's funny, actually, and people don't know this at the beginning. I mean, early, like first 10 episodes, like that used to take me like 4 tries, and we used to have so many random bloopers. Maybe not that one, but remember, like we would just start laughing at each other and stuff, and like we we would have to repeat like 6 times.
Well, yeah, it's because we were like, oh, like we're like at the start we were doing it just like as like kind of a joke or like whatever. We were just trying to do it for fun. So it was just like, what are we doing? Like we were just laughing at each other for every word we'd say. We'd be like, we try to be serious and we just start laughing just because it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But now it's like it's just a lifestyle. It's ingrained in our in who we are now. So I feel like we got it so down pat that I don't know. You could do it legit at any point. If you've had a couple beers, if you're doing this, if you're sleeping, I don't even know. If you're having a shower, you could probably ring this thing off. Just so second nature for you now.
Yeah.
But
and
yeah,
I've done it with a few beers before. A couple episodes ago when I was in Guelph, remember I was coming back from a dinner and I didn't expect to do the podcast that night, and we had an interview. It was Jack Thompson. That was funny.
you may have had a few takes that time just because the giggles were kicking in. You were laughing.
Yeah, but anyway, man. So, what's been going on with you? What's up? I know you're heading to San Jose soon.
Yeah, I leave next Monday, so just had like a great weekend with my buddies. Got to visit my billet, see my girlfriend, and hang out with my buddies a little bit this weekend. So got to golf, go to the Eric Church concert. It was absolutely unbelievable. So now I'm just like this whole week, just kind of training, chilling, and just preparing for San Jose. I leave on Monday quite early in the morning. So yeah, it'll just be a big week of training for me and lots of rest. Maybe a little bit of golf, but kind of all over the map. Went to Newmarket for a skate today and stuff. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to San Jose Monday. It's always a treat to go down to California. So I'm excited. But how was your long weekend? I know you're up at the lake.
Yeah, it was good. Before I even talk about that, I was just thinking, because as nerdy as this sounds, but I need to do it for work and stuff. I've been reading over the NHL CBA, and in the CBA, one of the things when you're flying to camp or like to the start of the season and stuff, if you're on a standard player contract, they have to fly you business class, and so I imagine you're going to be in economy.
Yeah, I'll probably get. I gotta earn that. But I feel like even the sign guys were in economy last time.
It's in the CBA.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe there wasn't anybody signed. Maybe.
Well, no, I mean, they might not be like, the player probably doesn't know that, and they might be just getting away with it, or like, who knows? I don't think it's very like a very enforceable type of rule,
Yeah, well, until I'm earning my.
Sorry, I have it right here. Rules 79 and 80. If you're signed to a standard player contract and are not on an entry level.
Oh, okay. So the entry levels are stuck on the regular flights as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So I gotta first earn a contract and then earn a second contract if I want to be kicking my feet up or enjoying the nice plane rather than being crammed in there with everybody else. But hey, I can't complain. I'm getting a free flight to California. I mean, what kind of kid at 19 years old is going to complain about that, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. And anyway, going back, for me, spent the weekend up at the cottage at the lake, and it was a great, like, the weather was great this weekend and stuff, and you're the weatherman of the show, so it was nice to just get some hot weather, be out on the water, get the water skis going and get the boat going and stuff like that. So it was nice to relax. I worked really hard to finish all my school and work stuff early in the week, so I barely had to touch my laptop the whole weekend, and it was so nice because I'm always, especially in the summer, like I'm just always on my computer now that there's no like hockey stuff per se for me to be like on the ice for and all that. So it was really nice and relaxing to get away. And I actually was wondering, because my school's so busy and stuff. But I know you had your school to finish up. Did you end up getting all that stuff done?
Yeah, dude, I ended up getting like 3 courses done, and like I left it so last minute, but I got them all done, and I passed and everything. So I was super happy with that. But you know what I was just thinking too? You mentioning that like top 5 feeling of all time is like getting everything done and not having to worry about it. Like those last, like, I don't know, it's almost like weird to describe. Like when I was a kid growing up at school, it's like, hey, like the last day of school just happened and it doesn't feel real. It feels like you still have to go and do stuff for like the first week and you're like, oh my God, like I'm done. And that feeling is just so nice when you know, like, hey, I don't have to worry about anything. I'm just on vacation. Now I'm chilling, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That you definitely must have felt that way after cramming for those courses and getting it done. But I mean, it even like, it's in the little things too. Like today, I've been getting back into running. I used to be a good runner and then now I'm not. And so I'm trying to get back into it. And today I had a good run. And when I finished, it was like that feeling of just like, oh my God, I just did that. Like, and everything was like spinning around. I think I was maybe just going to pass out, or it was that feeling. I don't know. But that, yeah.
How long did you run for?
It was not long enough to brag. It was like a 25-minute run, but I was doing intermittent sprinting for the first 15 minutes of it.
No. Okay. So would you go like 4K, 5K?
I don't think I did. Maybe with the sprints, like, I have no clue. I was just doing a timed run. I didn't do distance.
No. Okay.
I wasn't
Cool.
tracking my distance. I have no idea, but I'm
was
trying
like
to
me, man.
get it going.
I went out for my first run because like if I'm running, like normally it's in the gym and I'm on the treadmill, or if I'm running, like I'm doing hills or sprints, like training for like more hockey type. And if I'm doing my cardio, I normally do it on the Peloton. But so I was up in Barrie and I didn't have any of like those devices. So I'm like, you know what? It's a beautiful morning. I'm going to go for a run and see how this goes. So like that was the same thing for me, like first run in like 2 years, 3 years maybe. And it was a bit of a battle, but like once you get into it, man, it actually feels so nice to just be running, letting that fresh air hit your face and stuff. And then when you're done, you do feel like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. But anyway, I mean, moving forward, I guess, I wanted to bring up one topic, I guess, and there's many we'll get into and stuff. I guess before I do, we should address, as you probably know by the title, we don't have a guest this week. We said a while back how we've done a couple episodes where it's just us talking and they seem to go well. So every now and then we'll throw one of those in and see if you guys get sick of our voices or not. But I wanted to say, I guess to start it off, like, are you a coffee guy? I don't even know if I've ever asked you this. Do you drink coffee a lot or no?
Yeah.
So how do you take your coffee?
Like if I'm going warm coffee, it'll be 1 milk, 1 sugar. And then if I'm getting iced coffee, I just say, okay, give me an iced coffee, and whatever comes out, I drink.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever been in this situation? I just was in this situation on the weekend, and it's happened a million times before, where like you put sugar in your coffee and the hardcore coffee drinkers are just judging you for like putting sugar in your coffee. They're like, oh, like I don't put sugar in my coffee. Like they're like almost bragging that they take it black or whatever. You ever experienced that or no?
I feel like I have, like, not directly, but I can feel like if I'm throwing a pack of sugar in, and I'm like the type of guy, I don't like to have like a lot of sugar in a day. So like I'll do like a quarter to a half a pack just to be like conservative on that front. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely people when I'm like, hey, yo, pass the sugar, they're like, take sugar to your coffee. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Like, so why am I being judged for that? And even when if I want to pour a full packet of sugar in my coffee and someone's watching me, like in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to pour half because people are looking at me. But why? But I want the full one. So it's like, why is that a thing where I'm feeling judged? And why are people who drink their coffee black or without sugar making fun of people who drink it with sugar? And I think, I know maybe you can't relate, but I know there's people listening that can. And I'm sitting here like, people are like, oh yeah, I always have my coffee black. Like I'm so picky about my coffee. The sugar ruins the taste forever. But here's the truth. Coffee black tastes bad and it needs sugar and milk to taste good. How's that?
Dude, actually, it's funny you say that because like anytime, like if I go through the Tim Hortons line with my parents, and sometimes like I'll be like, oh, the 1 milk, 1 sugar is not enough, and I'll be like, okay, give me a double. And my mom will be like, ew, a double.
Right,
like,
there we go.
And I'm like, well, that's how I want it, and that's like how it tastes good, so I'm gonna have it like that.
Now I'm gonna expose myself here, and you might remember me doing this back when I was living in Niagara Falls earlier. I haven't done it since, but for my morning drink for a while, was so I'd have a big mug, I'd fill it halfway with coffee, the other half I would fill with hot chocolate, and then I would put in it was I think it was O. Henry like creamer, and I would pour it in like a couple centimeters of that and stir it up. And yeah, it had so much sugar in it, but it tasted amazing. And I don't care, like I don't need the coffee. I just want like a good tasting hot drink in the morning. And that was it for me for a while. And it was pretty sweet. So anyway, yeah, I don't like black coffee. It doesn't taste good.
Okay, so moral of the story is Nhl Rask or I, we don't like black coffee. So if you're gonna buy us a coffee, just know at least 1 milk, 1 sugar to begin with. I also like a good French vanilla as well. But I mean, this is a hockey podcast, so you want to hit our first subject of the day?
Yeah, we have some hockey stuff to talk about, but one more thing, just because we were on that topic. When I was in Barrie, that concession stand, it's like the Irish coffee stand kind of behind the home bench.
Yeah.
So I used to go there, and they would make me during the
and
games.
They have the cookies. They have the cookies there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girl would make me I got the half coffee. Oh no, it was like a third coffee, a third French vanilla, a third hot chocolate. And it was a good drink. And I do that stuff at Tim's if you ever want to like mix and match. They let you do that. Anyway, okay. Hockey stuff. So we have a bit, but we'll start with the Colorado Avalanche. Now, we've seen them partying with the cup for a week, more than a week. The parade has looked sick. I don't know about you. I'm looking at all their Instagram pictures and stuff, keeping an eye on the shenanigans and stuff. And it looks unreal. And, having won a Sutherland Cup myself, which is almost as good. I know how good it must feel for them, especially because I joined the team in the playoffs when it counts. But one of the questions that was sent in to us today was, will the cup make it out of this summer alive? Have you seen this thing get dropped over and over?
Oh yeah, man. Like it's hard to watch because you look at the cup and it's like this is like the most prestigious thing in all of our sport, and these guys are just throwing it around like it's a football in the backyard. But no, man, and this was another thing that I was talking to JT Jack Thompson about it in the car today. I'm like, so if you win the cup, how long do you party for? I'm like we're trying to think, and we're like, well, established guys, like could party as long as they want. Like they know they're coming back. They got their spot. They've won the cup. But if you I'm the type of guy, I always feel guilty if I don't work out for a bit. And I feel like these guys are just on a bender, and they're just partying and just drinking and celebrating with the cup. But I guess you put in all those hours to win the cup, so you might as well enjoy it for at least a week or two before you get back to normal life. How long would you say you'd party for if you won the cup?
I'd say the cup, at least 2 weeks, man, before you're hitting the gym and stuff like that. I think.
How do you feel though? Are you not like, oh my God, I'm going to turn into a milk bag if I keep doing this?
The only thing is what are you training for at the end of the day? Maybe if you're trying to earn a contract, but you're ultimately training, you want to win and you got it. So you deserve to celebrate. You have done the training to get to that point. So I think
that's true.
You need, now with that being said as well, it's beginning of July, the season had just ended and the season kicks up again in a month and a half, So I get what you mean, but at the end, as a professional athlete and even a junior hockey athlete, all that stuff, you're in the best shape compared to an average person. You'd be able to rebound and get your body back to where it is a lot quicker than another person, I would imagine. And yeah, you won the cup. You gotta be partying all the time. And okay, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. I had it for later on, but so the Hamilton Bulldogs, for example, obviously win the OHL championship, go to St. John for the Memorial Cup and lose in the final. They came back, they had their little parade and stuff, but it's not the same. If there's no Memorial Cup, for example, they would have been partying for a week on end at least. And they come back and maybe they had their one big party or whatever it might be, but there was no time to party after they won because they're focused on the Mem Cup now. And then coming back after losing a game like that, you just don't you don't have that feeling anymore. So it kind of ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, that is fair. But like, and then it's like the polar, like if you look at it in that sense, like Edmonton, Shawinigan, and Hamilton all kind of have that feeling.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, so they all get to go home and celebrate, but the winner of it all is the team who loses out in the first round of the playoffs. And then now they're probably having a party for a week or 2 weeks. And yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, but I say one of us win the cup one day, so then we can find out the reality of it.
Well, if it's me as a non-player, it would be all summer and I would never stop partying for the rest of my life.
I know you would. And then you'd end up getting fired because you'd never come back to the office.
I'd probably take the cup and disappear. But even like, look at me with not to keep bringing it up, but with the Sutherland Cup, I mean, I was partying for like 2 weeks straight with the boys, and it wasn't like, yeah, I don't know. And there's still stuff going on too. Like they have the Maid of the Mist, like the thing that goes in the Niagara Falls. They invited the team for a private ride with the trophy and stuff, which will be kind of nasty.
If you win a trophy or a cup, like I feel like it's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving for a while. You get a lot of perks for at least until the next season, you know?
Yeah. And think about it. Like you get the cup and you have your day with the cup or 2 days or whatever it is. And like you're having a huge party that day, which is midsummer. You're probably going to keep partying. Like I mean, look at Ovechkin and the Capitals when they won, man. The party didn't stop. And you look at Tampa after both cups, the party inside, and they still keep going to the finals, and they party and they make it work. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, but if you win the cup, like you better not be thinking about training and stuff. You celebrate.
No, I feel like it's just such a second thought at that point. But I mean, what's next on our docket? We might as well keep rolling.
Yeah, well, we mentioned St. John's, so I want to talk about the Sea Dogs one, which I had called it last episode, and we have to shout out Gardner McDougall, the coach of Eternity, for pulling that one off. Although I was looking at the team, like they had 8 draft picks, man, which might have been the most in the CHL. I think like that's, almost half the team has been drafted, and a couple more I think are going to get drafted in a few days here. So they had a good team, but I don't know, man. Like, what were your thoughts on that?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch like a heck of a lot of it. But yeah, like I said earlier, like rooting for the guys, Winterton and guys like that. So, and it's always fun to see the competition that you've played against all year and see how they stack up against the other leagues. But I thought it was a good tournament overall. And it was crazy to see that your prediction, like weeks before the tournament even happened, kind of came true, because you had the pre-scout on that coach, and maybe you were the only one who was capable of stopping him from the win if you had warned everyone in advance, right?
It's funny because actually coaching makes such a big difference. He's like a big matchups guy, and like Jason Wilms, who wait, you didn't play with Wilmer, did you?
I know him, though. I know Wilmer pretty well.
Because like he's at UNB, who I met in Barrie, former captain of the Colts. He's at UNB where Gardner McDougall's the coach, and he knows like, and we've talked like all about that. So it's pretty interesting. Anyway, big one in San Jose. We got a new GM. You want to take it from there?
Yeah. I mean, Mike Greer was announced today as the new GM of the San Jose Sharks, and the first Black GM in the history of the NHL. So that's obviously a huge step for not only the NHL, but it's the San Jose Sharks for making that move and putting him in that role. And it's great to see. And you already see all these posts online by, and I saw the Soul on Ice podcast as well, who Keel, who we had on, is a part of that. And it's super humbling, and it's really a proud day. And it's great for the game, and it's going to continue to grow the game. And, it's something that I think is amazing, and I'm sure we already talked about it, and we were super excited about it. And for me personally, I'm just excited to get down there next week and have the opportunity to introduce myself, and then put my best on the ice, and hopefully he likes my game.
Yeah. So I mean, what is it like for you now, going to having a new GM who, he didn't draft you, he has probably never seen you play, like that sort of stuff. What's that mindset for you now going to camp with a new GM?
Well, it's a fresh slate, right? Like, I don't know what Doug Wilson had thought of me. Obviously, had the confidence to draft me in his scouts and stuff like that. But this is a fresh slate. Like, he hasn't seen anybody, right? So at the same time, everybody's in the same boat and everybody wants to impress, right? But you got to go there and kind of just do your thing. And if and that's what got you there. Like, whatever gets you places, I feel like the hockey world kind of has similar interests. So I feel like you just be confident in yourself, and first and foremost, have a good interaction off the ice. Don't be a donkey when meeting him for the first time, and then just do my thing on the ice. And I'm super excited, and just work as hard as I can, because I feel like a hard work ethic gets noticed by anyone, who, no matter who you are.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it's interesting timing for a new GM, because the NHL draft is in a couple days now. And I imagine, that'll be on the scouting staff really and Doug Wilson Jr. Is he still around there?
Yeah, Doug Wilson Jr. is still there. So I feel like most of the scouting and the drafting, yeah, like you said.
Yeah, so it'll kind of fall onto them. And then Mike Greer, going forward, will be able to make his impact on the staffing and the future drafts going forward. He also is a former San Jose Shark and played over 1,000 games in the NHL. So pretty sweet playing career. And now he's already had quite the post playing career, and, it's only getting started for him. So other NHL news, I guess we got the NHL draft coming up this week. Like I said, a lot of debate now about who's going to be taken first overall, where Shane Wright was kind of the guy for years. Like, everyone had thought it was going to be him first overall. And now all of a sudden, there's some uncertainty. So I have two questions for you. Firstly, do you think Shane Wright knows at this point if Montreal is taking him? Yes or no? And then who would you take first overall?
In my opinion, I believe that if Montreal is taking him and he's going one, I think he knows. And I think that's been relayed through the agent and stuff. I don't know. Like, mind you, I have no idea, right? I've never been a first overall pick. I wish I was, and I wish I could tell you the real answer, but unfortunately, they don't tell you that you're going 121st. So I don't know exactly how that works. But I believe that, yeah, if Montreal's taking him, I think that they already told him. And if it's still up in the air, obviously it's still up in the air. And I feel like if it's the other guy, it's probably predetermined. You just see so many things with, like, first overalls, and it's like preset, and like even in the OHL, it's like the day before they get announced. So I feel like it's definitely out there. And I don't know, like, the debate is so hard to counter in on too, for myself personally, because I've played against Shane. I've talked to him, had conversations on the ice and stuff like that. And he's an amazing player, and everybody's seen that for years now. And I've never seen the other player play. His name's Slavkovsky. And yeah, like, I've never seen him play, so I can't make any judgment on who should be number one or two. And I know you're in the same boat, but I think we can agree Shane Wright's going to be a hell of a player. And he's already shown that in the OHL over the past few years as a young guy. And he's an interesting player too, in the fact that some nights you may not notice him, but he's a +4 because he's so defensively sound, and he won all of his draws. And maybe he didn't have a goal or assist, but he had 7 shots on net, created great ozone time. Like I said, won his draws, won his battles, and stayed below the puck all night. And teams drafting number 1 or overall are like, that's the game we want to see, maybe, rather than a guy scoring a hat trick. And it goes back to playing the right way. And for all our young listeners, I think that's a big thing, like, that you can learn from all the episodes. I think a lot of guys give credit to playing hockey properly, buying in, not being out on their own. And we had a conversation with Rob Schremp a while back on the podcast, and he was like one of those guys who kind of just like did his own thing, like freewheeled, and like that's ultimately why he said like he never had like the career he had like wanted in the NHL per se. And maybe it was because it was before his time and stuff, but it's the same type of thing. Shane Wright's the player that you're going to get a reliable, like, game in and game out. And he's a guy that like will play in the NHL for a long time just because of his habits. So I think he's a great pick, and who knows, we'll have to chat about it next week on the podcast once we see who actually goes number 1. But what do you think? And I know you've seen Shane Wright play.
Yeah. My opinion too. Well, again, same as you, like I don't know just because I haven't seen these other players, and I know Logan Cooley's also in the mix for going first overall. But I would say that there for years in the past there was like an expectation that the first overall pick would come in and be like one of the better players, because you look at guys like McDavid, Matthews, these guys coming in and just being dominant players, and then you look at guys like Jack Hughes, Alexis Lafreniere, like guys who will be really good for a long time, but you don't step in as a rookie and dominate because it's not easy to do, even if you go first overall. And I think, and obviously they could prove me wrong, but I think if Shane Wright goes first overall, he'll be one of those guys who's not, they're going to be like, oh, he went first overall and he's not like 100-point player. But he's going to be like a good long time NHLer. So that's something to remember too. Cause you're picking for a long future, hopefully with the same franchise rather than for like, a breakout rookie season. And we'll I guess, we'll revisit it next week when we see how the draft goes. There was a couple other things I want to talk about before we go to the fan questions. One of them being how I've talked about on the podcast, but how I'm a shareholder of the Green Bay Packers, which is
right.
Pretty funny. But so they just mailed me this thing that I get every year, inviting me to the annual shareholders meeting. And I was thinking about opening it live on the podcast, but there's no point doing that, and we want to get to the fan questions and stuff. But they had sent me 4 tickets to the annual shareholders meeting here. So
yeah,
I've never been. I get this every year and I've never been, but now that I'm older, like I have my summer kind of more open and enough money to get myself there. I was thinking I might round up some of the boys and go take the drive. It's a 12-hour drive, but Chicago's on the way. So I was thinking drive to Chicago, stay in Chicago one night, see Chicago and stuff, go to this Packers shareholder meeting the next day. You get like merch and food and get to see Lambeau Field and stuff and vote on. I have no clue what we'd be voting on, but if I read this thing, I'd probably know like what I'm supposed to do, but it's a lot of words. But so I think I might do it. It's on July 25th. So I'm thinking about that.
That would be a sick experience. And like if you went through Chicago, you could hit up like a Cubbies game or like a White Sox game, whoever's in town, like do that, get to see Chicago a little bit. And then you are a part owner, so you might as well go see what you're working with.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I saw a guy in a Green Bay Packers sweater this weekend, and I was thinking, like, not actually, but I was thinking I should go up to him and tell him that I own the team and see his reaction. Anyway, okay, we can get into some fan questions, just a few to wrap it up here. One of them from friend of the show, Ethan Keppen. We got to talk about Cardsy's corny skate last Monday. So what happened there?
No, it's just buzzing. I mean, I'm out there just putting in a good effort, right? He wasn't even there, so I don't even know how he heard about me skating with Corny and stuff like that. But no, I was just being a typical pro out there, going through my reps, high intensity, and get my rest when I'm not. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of goals, and scored. We always have my former minor midget goalie, Ethan Robertson, who comes out. So scored quite a few goals on him that day. So I was feeling pretty good about myself.
There you go. Okay. How would you describe your play style?
I feel like I work pretty hard. I rely on my skating, fast skater, and try to use my speed wide, and then at the same time use my hockey IQ to kind of read plays, pick off passes, and recover pucks well, and then make plays off that, and use my speed as separation to either drive the net, make a play off that, or be able to delay and create separation from other players.
Okay. How would you describe my play style?
On or off the ice?
On
the ice.
I used to, when I was with the Colts, we used to skate on game days with the scratches, like the office staff versus scratches in 3-on-3. And I used to just dangle Shredsy over and over.
No, if I have to describe Rask's play style, I'll say like it'll be like he's just pinned to the wall, like hard out, like get pucks out, get pucks on he likes to keep pucks on the yellow because that's simple. Rim pucks ideally, give his give his players suicide passes, get to the red line, dump it in, get off, or get
hockey.
to the red line, chip it in, and go run somebody. No, I'm just kidding. I never saw Rask play, so I can't comment. But I have seen he has some pretty slick mitts for a washed up player himself now.
Yeah, we'll have to get out to a skate or something. Go 1-on-1 for the title. We'll see. Go 1-on-1 for the flight to San Jose. Now we got Rask. What do you look for when recruiting guys?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple answer. I mean, it depends on where we're at with the team and stuff, but you want to start with looking just for like the most high-end guy you can. Basically, like look at the OHL, who's the best one we can get out of there. And then when you're looking for like the other guys that aren't like maybe the super high end, we really want guys who can skate. We don't want like a slow, sluggish defenseman now. I'm kind of just looking for people who can really push the pace and you can ride them all game and they're not going to get tired. Like none of those guys. I want people who are really quick. That's like one of the first things I'm looking for. Like when it's not just one of those high-end guys that obviously everybody wants. So I think simple answer, skating is something we look for. And then actually, I don't know if you know this, Cards, and the listeners, but we do pretty thorough background checks on people we're recruiting, like calling their coaches, teammates, and trainers. We talk to a couple trainers because they're the ones who really know what guys are like. So we don't want any bad guys, because I think I've said this on the podcast before, but every time you hear a team win a championship and they get interviewed, they're like, this is the tightest knit group I've ever been a part of. Like, we're brothers for like all that. So you can't win with bad guys. I truly believe that. And that's so I really look for thorough background checks and making sure we're bringing in good people.
Yeah, I was literally just about to ask you when you were talking about speed. I was like, well, you got to be looking for good people. And I think like that's something I've come across too, like just from being a player. You want to be around the best guys and you want to create the best environment in the locker room so that you can win games, right? So that's definitely a thing. And calling trainers, like when I was being scouted, like teams were calling my billets, they were calling the trainers, they were calling coaches, assistant coaches, like just kind of going through all the process. But I guess you got to do all that to find your guy, and you've done a pretty good job of that as you guys have had a few good seasons in a row now.
Yeah, and our recruiting class is buzzing this year. And then even just one more example about skating, just to go in for, like, we had a guy come from the OJ one year, and he led the OJHL in scoring, like 100-point guy in that league. And his skating wasn't great, and it just didn't translate at Brock. Like over 3 years, he only played maybe like 10 to 15 games and only had a couple points. And it's just, you gotta ultimately, it doesn't matter if you can put up points. Like you gotta be able to skate in that league and going forward into pro and stuff, because it only gets faster and faster. Who's gonna win the Stanley Cup next year?
The Sharks.
Yeah, only if you make the team though. Otherwise, they're screwed.
Obviously, yeah, that would be my number one team I'd be rooting for, but it's kind of hard to bet against Colorado again.
Yeah.
You?
I mean, Tampa could win again. I think.
I saw a thing. The Leafs were the second best odds to win behind Colorado.
Yeah, it was hard for me to not say the Leafs right there, but now that I've said Tampa, I think the Leafs also have a good chance. And obviously, easy answer, Colorado. If I had to pick a sleeper team, I don't know if they count as a sleeper team, but Florida, like I think they do have like a lot of potential to win the cup. And it's not really like a sleeper pick because they won the President's Trophy, but I could definitely see them going all the way if they stay healthy.
I could see that as well. You know what? I'm gonna make a sleeper pick for just like a good solid team next year, not a team who like needs to win or whatever. Like I think Chicago underachieved a lot this year. I think they're going to be a better team next year.
Yeah, they had a lot of off-ice drama to deal with this year, so I think with that put aside, they can keep their heads on the ice and focus on hockey. So that I can see that. I'm trying to think of any Canadian teams that might push it other than the Leafs, but Edmonton's not ready to win a cup, man. I just don't think I don't think they're going to be there.
So many conversations about the Oilers. I think what we've decided is goaltending, right?
Goaltending and just overall depth, I guess, front and back. Like, it's just they need a lot more, man. I don't know. Anyway, we don't need to get into it too much. I don't know how long we've been going. I feel like we've been going a while. I'll say this. Normally we have a good sense of time, how long we're going, but there was a thought that Cardsy's car might have been getting stolen in the middle of the episode. So we had to break it up for a bit to check that out. So we had to, I don't know how long we've been going, but I think it's been a good episode.
Yeah, no, I think it's been good. Like, we went no script. We're just kind of ripping it off the top of our heads here. But yeah, like you said, like, first time in a long time, we've had a little bit of Wi-Fi issues. We've also had, the thought that there could be cars being stolen, false alarm. So nobody worry about us here. We're all good. But no, that was like, I had fun. It was nice to just like talk a little bit of hockey, talk a little bit of life, talk a bit of coffee. And I had fun, man.
All right. So I'll give it back to you for a little weather or whatever you want to talk about here. Floor is yours, and wrap it up for the boys.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a down week for all hockey fans. Like, didn't really have anything to watch for the past 2 weeks, I guess. Or I guess the Memorial Cup just wrapped up, the Stanley Cup, and we're right back into another hockey week filled with the draft. So don't forget to circle that on your calendars if you're a huge hockey fan, which I'm guessing you are if you're listening to this podcast. So enjoy that this weekend, and and enjoy the weather. It's looking like we're getting some nicer weather coming our way. A little bit of clouds, but overall some good heat, and it's a lot to look forward to. So I know I'll be enjoying the draft myself, and then shooting off to San Jose. So we don't know if we'll have an episode next week, but if it's this week or next week or the week after, we'll catch you next time, and enjoy yourself.